Good evening, Hobby World. Thanks for joining us tonight for episode 70 of Personal Rips and Hobby Chat. Joining me tonight, as always, is Ken from Beans B Card Blog. I am Herman, aka 3B Collections. We're here Monday nights to talk about our hobby and yours. Feel free to join into the chat with the conversation. How's it going?
I think we're going to have things that people are going to want to talk about tonight. What do you think?
I believe so too.
It's almost like we're actually doing a show again. We actually have some planned things to talk about. It's been a while since we've gone that far.
Yeah, and I think we're actually on a 6-week streak as well. So fingers crossed it continues that way.
Really? It's been that long, huh?
I think we're on 6 in a row without having.
Did I miss? I think maybe I missed one. Did you have somebody join you for one in there? I feel like I've missed one in the last 6 weeks. I might be wrong. Who knows?
Yeah, Brad jumped in on one.
That's right. So, but yeah, still six straight weeks. That's pretty damn good for us.
Yeah, it is. Hey, and before we get started, since this is something that's, and I guess it could be considered a hobby, it's near and dear to, I know, at least mine and your hearts. Happy National Barbecue Day.
Yeah, I actually saw that as I was eating dinner tonight. A few hours too late and $1 short.
And I actually ate barbecue.
I did not. I did Saturday though. I smoked a couple racks of pork spare ribs. Turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
So I did. I think I did figure out a secret, like that something I've been doing a lot. So as I was doing the recipe, or reading through the recipe and everything, and I was to get everything ready, I realized it didn't call for me to put any water in. I have put water in every time I've smoked. And now I understand why my brisket, even though it tastes fantastic, has still had a little bit of a moist outer thing. I think one of the first things I did was some birds, and I'm thinking the birds dry out. You have to put it in there for those. But I've been doing it for pork and beef, so I've just been messing everything up. The wife and stepson have been pretty happy with what I've done, so I think it should only get better now. I finally figured out a new one.
Right. I mean,
I'm an idiot.
So let's see. We got Mickey, Nikki with us, Rich, Bo, Ed, Dan's with us. So John, Val, Zach. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, John's here. We got to keep talking about grilling and smoking.
Yeah, because we'll starve him out of we'll starve him to death. And Mark Hole jumped in. Welcome, Mark. We're just talking about barbecue right now, since it's National Barbecue Day. And me and Ken, we love our smoked ribs. So
yeah, we're definitely going to do them again soon. Definitely.
I actually
Kroger had a good sale.
I did some this weekend too. And I think I noticed that me and you kind of have a different taste on our ribs. You like a dry rib, if I'm not mistaken, right? Dry rub only.
When I had done baby back ribs before, I had done barbecue sauce, and then every hour you'd go out, baste them up a little bit. But I literally, like I said, it's called How to Barbecue Right. Malcolm Reed. Didn't you? Wait, you said you know his stuff, right?
Oh yeah, I know his stuff well.
I just followed it exactly as it was. I used a different dry rub than he used, but I followed what he said. So I literally did a dry rub, put it on there. Really, and his thing is you only need to open the smoker one time, about halfway through, just to see how it's looking. And that's pretty much what I went with.
That's I tell you what, and I say it's easy, but I mean I've done a bunch of them now. I did have my fails in the past. I almost burnt my porch up one time.
Mm.
So, of course, I was trying to do them on a grill then, and not actually do them on a smoker. So,
yeah, my problem is, and this is my one consistent problem, and this is why I'm actually planning to buy a smoker for next spring, a new one. I have trouble because I do charcoal. I don't cheat. I do straight charcoal and wood. And definitely in this case, it was supposed to be 250, and I was really having a lot of trouble getting it up to and staying at 250. So it took a little longer than it should have, but they came out. The other thing I loved about this one wasn't even a cook until a certain temperature. It was cook until you go to bend them and they start to fall apart.
Right.
So that was, but yeah, so it took a little longer because I was having trouble getting it to stay up at 250. But the smoker I'm going to buy next year, or for next year, is a vertical feed. So you drop it in and everything falls down throughout it. And then the other thing is it has fans inside, even though it's a charcoal/wood, it's got fans inside to help regulate the as it's going. Obviously, it may not, it's not going to do everything, but it's definitely going to help keep everything more consistent. So pretty excited about that.
Yep. So what are we talking about tonight?
I thought you had some mail to show off. I think that's where we started. Or is that where you wanted to end?
It's up to you. We can start there. I mean, I didn't know if you want to get into that or.
Well, you made it sound like I was. You made it sound like I was going to be Captain Grumpy Pants. So you said you wanted to show some mail, so it wasn't all grumpy. So maybe we save. Maybe we save that for the end.
All right, now you brought up kind of what you want to talk about, and to be honest, I know you said that we think a lot alike. I don't know where you stand on it, and I just figured if this is going to go toward the negative side, I may need to throw some positive in there, just to kind of balance it out. But not saying that I know which way you're leaning, but.
But you know me, so you do know, and that's all good, But I think it's some of these things that kind of fall under the radar, and our friends in the chat that watch and talk with us all the time, they're very similar to us in that they're collectors and they collect in similar ways than we do. We don't have flippers, high end people that really are part of our group. Our crew is definitely more of a collector based, and in some ways, I got a couple things I want to talk about. One doesn't really apply to much of anyone, and then the second topic, could kind of apply to some people, but it's just me giving an opinion and kind of going over the facts and seeing what you think as well. I like discussing with people because. You get other viewpoints. Although, like I was saying earlier when I was texting you, I think that's the weak spot of our show, maybe a little bit, is we agree too much, so we don't tend to feedback, Herman.
There it is. Now it's gone.
All right. So we get along and we kind of have the same thought processes. So not a whole lot of discussion. I think what we need to do is I was thinking after I texted you that we need to put a program together. Stella. We need to put a program together that's like around the horn, but for sports cards.
Right. Get everybody's opinion in there.
Just let everybody yell it out. Argue. You got 15 seconds to make your point. Go.
Right.
But
we could do that on a hobby roundtable.
We could. We got to get it up. I mean, we got to get the timer. We got to get the buzzer. We got to get where you can mute somebody at 15 seconds or 30 seconds. But anyway, yeah, that's something.
I can do that. I can do that easy. Like, just hit the button.
That's what I would like to hear. Stella gets no brisket, John. For one, there is no brisket. And number two, we're pretty picky with the dogs. We don't try not to give them a whole lot of human food anymore. We have in the past, but with brisket having all of the coating and seasoning on it, and then salt added, not the best idea. So you go ahead. You want me to get into topic one?
It's if you're good, you go right ahead. But yeah,
you worry about
given that. I mean, let me take this off. Given that, I mean, you said talking about giving them human food. Now, for the most part, with our two dogs, we don't ever give them anything, from the table. They know that when we sit down at the supper table, they either go to the living room or they go to the crate and they stay out of the way. As a treat, though, I have to admit that anytime we go to Texas Roadhouse, I usually always get the bone-in ribeye, and I do bring the bone back for Athena.
Yeah, and it's, and I won't criticize anyone for doing that. You just had a lot of that, like when stuff is cooked though, and you give them those bones are already broken down. Sometimes they splinter, and everyone's got their own thing and does their dogs their own way. And I wish we still did that, but just trying to avoid any possible negative outcomes.
Yeah,
for us. Used to give them pizza crust too, and now pizza crust is bad for. We found out pizza crust is bad. So
I mean,
it just is what it is.
You can't give them almonds. You can't give them, especially almonds. Almonds apparently cause some kind of digestive issues or something with dogs. But all right, let's get back into the matter at hand. So you want to start with the eBay?
Yeah, so I was just gonna, talk about the eBay authenticity, and they've made some changes. I don't know how recently. I think it's within the last handful of weeks. So I took this information from. I did not. Oh, there it is. I took this from a video that came out today from Baseball Card Collector Investor Dealer, and I really just took the facts that he presented. So I'm just of the assumption that he's correct. He has a big following. I like his channel. I sent you to that, you won't post it, but he was talking about some new things that some different websites were doing. But I just wanted to talk about the eBay authenticity guarantee thing they're running now. So it started out, I believe it was only for raw cards selling for over $750. Maybe it was $500, but I do think it was $750. What happened is the buyer would send it to a third party, which in this case was CSG. They would basically just authenticate that the card is authentic and that what was sent matches was described and whatnot. And there were a lot of hiccups in that at first. I'm not going to sit here and, harp on those. There were some cards that were coming out. There were some cards that were coming back as fake that, it seemed pretty likely were not faked. Yeah, I'm not going to get into all that. But now they have dropped it to anything raw that sells for $250 or more, and any graded card that sells for $2,000 or more has to be sent off to a third party to be authenticated before it goes to the buyer. And from again, very limited because I don't swim in that pool. I don't have a whole lot of cards that are have a going rate of over $250, and the only one that might be over $2,000 I have is my Jim Brown rookie if I got it slabbed. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get your take on that. Something else I found interesting. So all raw cards go to CSG to be authenticated, but all slabs, regardless of company, go to PSA to be authenticated. So I just don't know. I'm not even insinuating that PSA would be up to any shenanigans with that. I don't believe that to be even a possibility or a likelihood. I should say it's always a possibility, not a likelihood. But it just does seem weird that PSA is going to be authenticating BGS, whatever else, SGC slabs. So I thought that was interesting. But so a couple thoughts. I don't think this should be required. It's required. I think it should be something where, the buyer has the option to do this. Because for now, and it says for a limited time in eBay's wording, for a limited time, there is no additional cost. So at some point, this will become an additional cost. Right. If you're buying a $2,500 slab, you feel confident based on, whatever you feel confident on. My thought is that it shouldn't be required. It should be optional for the buyer, and then that the buyer would have to pay for it in my theory. But in the case of, like I said, if it's whatever card that just came out a couple weeks ago, we sent it to PSA, did the top level, if card's only been out for 2 weeks, pretty sure that card is not fake. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna die.
In a case like in a case like with the Doug Cruz that Bo sent, that he sold, that he pulled from his blasters, that card been out for less than a week.
Yeah, let's say he sends that to PSA, does the highest service level, so he gets it back basically within 3 days, and it's a $5,000 card. I don't understand why that needs to be authenticated. Again, I'm also kind of going with the thought process of, in the future, I think it should be optional, but I think the buyer should pay for it. But in that case, the buyer probably feels pretty good that, like you said, a week after the release date, that card's authentic and not already being faked.
Yeah. And back to what you were saying as far as being a buyer's option, I mean, if that was the case, then there could be a clause where, we offer this service, and if it ends up being not authentic or being fake, you get your money back. We send it back to the seller. But if you choose to opt out, your return's a no-go.
Yeah, it's the what's that phrase? Is it caveat emptor? Am I saying that right?
Don't ask me. I don't know.
Or we can say what the guy at Beckett said: buy wisely. You're on your own. I just don't think it should be required. And even people that I do know that buy high-end stuff are not exactly a fan of this. So I just kind of wanted to, again, it's not an end of the pool that you or I are ever in, but I did kind of want to get your thoughts. And obviously when I say I want to get yours, I want to get the thoughts of folks in the chat as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what I said, that's what Dan said. I think that's right. Caveat emptor, or whatever I said, emptor. That's buyer beware. Anyway.
Yeah. As far as my thoughts on it, the original authenticity of a raw card, I mean, I'm all for that. Especially for, like I said, some of your older stuff. The newer stuff, maybe not so much, except for, I mean, I do know that there have been like Trout rookies reproduced or faked. Am I right? I think. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. But anyway, it's to me, it's a good service, even if it's a paid service. I don't see where it could be. If it's a $250 card, when they start charging for it, you think what? Maybe $20, maybe less.
I mean, I wouldn't think it would be that much. I wouldn't think it would be.
Well, it's not even that much, because I mean, like SC, and I always get their name, SGC. Where are they at? Like $35 to even grade a card. And they're not slabbing these cards. They're just looking at them, making sure they're authentic, putting them back in a holder, and sending them to the buyer. So I would think that, I get that service, and I kind of like the idea, even though I don't buy many 250 plus cards on eBay. Haven't even gotten close, but now the slab part going to PSA and PSA authenticating everybody's slabs. I mean, I get that, PSA knows their slabs better than anybody. They do them. But how much do they know about SGCs or CSG or, whoever slabs? I mean, how much do they know about them to look at them and tell that they're authentic? Did I freeze?
Oh, no, you didn't freeze. Sorry, I was right. I was writing something down. A couple guys in the chat, John said, we'll all pay, Herman, higher fees for all, and I agree with that.
True.
It's just like everything else in this world, or at least in this country. There ain't nothing free. If it's free, it means we're all paying for it, So I'm going to step off my soapbox and just leave that there. And then Mark said, and this was something I was going to throw out there. Mark said, if he's spending real, and he's meaning that that level of money on a card, I'm only buying from certain sellers to begin with. And that's kind of where I was going to go was, if I buy a $300 raw card off of Greg Morris Cards, I trust that Greg Morris Cards is sending me an authentic card. Maybe I
Right.
shouldn't, but I do. If it's whoever the case may be, it's somebody I know. Say you buy a $500 card from me off eBay, you know me.
Right.
If you trust that my knowledge is accurate and that I say it's legitimate, then why should you have to go through this, whether it be pay or free? And that's all I have. And then I said that, in my world, if I was running it, it would be optional. The buyer would pay, but if it turned out to be fake or something was wrong, then when the money is returned to the buyer, so would that fee as well, and that would come from the seller themselves. But that was just kind of my thoughts on that, because these thresholds are lowering. And at what point, like I said, a lot of guys in the chat here, guys and gals, we're not spending $250 on a card on eBay. I don't think most of us are. I mean, I'm sure we all,
Dan
there might. Okay. But yeah, for whoever it is, it's just like, so doesn't really affect us right now. But what if in 12 months it's down to 100, and then it drops to 75? Then that's the other thing, is on top of that, now you're going to slow down the process, where, we're saying it's only taking a few extra days. Now do we start talking about weeks? I mean, let's just be honest. PSA and their backlogs on the stuff they're trying to grade is horrible. What makes us feel like they're going to do any better if it's something through eBay?
Yeah. And getting back to the slab portion of it with PSA, what are your thoughts as far as, down the road, if this thing takes off and picks up steam? What about, does SGC kind of reach out to eBay, or eBay reach out to SGC and get them on board and kind of have it more of, we'll send your cards, your slabs to you and PSAs to them, or does it just stay with one company?
I would say, in theory, yes, you would like to see that. You would like to see the card companies do that, or you would like to see, the card grading companies do that. So in theory, I would say yes, but no matter what, you're going to run into difficulties. But my first thing with that would be, what about when I go and buy from someone and buy 2 PSA graded cards and 2 SGC graded cards and a CSG graded card?
Mm-hmm.
So now that seller has to ship to 3 different places. And it's going to come back to me 3 different times. It's just, there's a lot of, it's like anything else. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. I don't know what the perfect answer is. And again, I'm not against the program in general. I think in theory, it's a fantastic program. It's a good service. But I do think that there should be more. It should be an optional thing. And then, we charge the buyer or seller, if we decide to do that. And that's just my thought. But yeah, I was curious what your thoughts were, because as that number drops, it's going to start affecting more and more people.
Yeah. And John says that SGC's already been offered that service and they turned it down. So, and I wasn't aware of that. So, but, and even if it's a 50-50 deal where the seller pays half and the buyer pays half, and the seller goes into it when he lists it, knowing that, he's got a $300 card, and if it sells, he's going to have to send it there. So assume half the responsibility for it.
Yeah. We can play the what if game all we want. Again, nothing's going to be perfect no matter what. There's going to be somebody that doesn't like it. It just is what it is.
Or it could stay a free service and everybody's eBay fees go to 15%.
Honestly, I think it will no longer be free, and everyone's eBay fees are still going to go to 15%. But it is what it is. I'm just calling it like I see it. But yeah, I was just, like I said, curious. It was a topic for me, because as that continues to drop, at what point, we're talking raw cards at $250. We're not I'm not too far from hitting that with Dale Earnhardt autographs.
Yeah.
So, but again, if I am going to pay for that, I would glad to go have the option to get that authenticated. But there are people that don't care for that. So that was just one of my topics for the night. I was kind of curious, kind of want to spitball, see what your thoughts were, and I feel like you and I are kind of in the same place on this, as much as anything, just because it's not going to affect 90% of our, or 95% of our purchases or sales on eBay. So a little indifferent on it, as I am with a lot of the hobby topics, the hot topics that involve ultra modern cards.
So Ed brings up a good point. So, he says, don't forget that eBay is developing a vault service, and this could lead to them waiving the authenticity fee for vault cards in order to build that up. So if you're willing to send it to the vault, which you would think, though, they're still going to want it authenticated if it's going to sit in their vault, because if it's in their vault, then eventually it's going to be sold, unless it doesn't go through it until it's actually sold out of the vault.
They're talking about, he may be talking about waiving it when it's sold to someone that also puts it in their vault.
True.
You do it, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to speculate on this, but I'm going to leave it in its vault. It's already good. So as soon as I sell it on there, eBay working whatever their process is to get those vault cards out. Again, we definitely can sit here, and I think everything that people have raised in the chat was good. Mark mentioned something. Ed, just that's what I love about the show, and that's what I love about us being interactive, is that we do get to see what others think.
True.
But that's what I got. That's what I got on that one.
Like I said, there's pros and cons to it, and it overall, I mean, it's a great idea, but and like you go back to what you said, make it an option both ways, either with raw or slabbed, because if you're buying from, like you said, from someone like Greg Morris, I mean, I've bought hundreds of cards from Greg Morris with no issues, and he's been in it long enough, and he's trusted. You know what you're getting from him, because with the business he's built up, he risks losing more by trying to pull something like that. Now, not to say that it couldn't slip by him, because I mean, I don't know him personally. I just know him professionally from dealing with him through eBay. But if you decided that, I've bought, like I said, hundreds of cards from him, I have no issue with just accepting what he has and taking it for what it is. So.
But yeah, did you throw that link into the chat to the video from? Okay,
I did it, and I'll do it again now, just because.
I just figured, if anybody is interested in seeing that.
Yeah, I threw it in when we first started talking about it, but I'll put it back up again. So
I enjoy his channel and share some of his stuff. Because he'll go through weekly, and he does like what called high rollers. Like he'll do the top 10 cards sales from eBay the prior week or something. So it's a good channel. I mean, again, he calls himself collector, investor, dealer, but it's not a invest type channel, I don't believe. So maybe somebody will be interested in checking that out and subscribing for another reason.
Yep. All right. You want to move on to your next one?
All right.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead. You want to throw this first link? I'll throw this first link in the chat.
All right. So I think that's the. Which one is this? The Sports Card Radio video.
I
need to go back and look at it.
It's about the logo man.
Okay, yeah. So this is just. This is the backyard break.
Or do you want to do that one first?
It doesn't matter. Let's do them in order. So the backyard break scammers. I'll talk about that. That is a video that was done by somebody I don't follow, but it goes through video backers
Hey,
break and how they,
hey, Ken.
maybe doing some shady stuff. Yes.
Ken, give me 1 second. I'm gonna let you keep doing this. I got to take a call from work, but I'm here.
All right. That works.
Sorry.
That works. I got lots to talk about. So, so here we go. So for those of you that don't know, because a lot of you guys are not into breaks. I am not. I only break with some friends that do some small breaks from time to time. But so this information is per Sports Card Radio. We know that Josh Luber, I want to say on Saturday evening, a 3.5 hour break of the first year of Prism basketball with our friends, the Backyard Breakers, or whatever it's called. So for those of you that may not know who those people are, they've had there's a lot of sketchiness, shadiness going on, and I will say that I am taking this information from Sports Card Radio and videos that he has, and Herman will in a little bit probably post that other video. So you have the Trevor Lawrence fiasco where they did what was supposed to be a free break for some of their customers. They pulled a Trevor Lawrence out of 10 and ended up not giving it away to the person that had the spot. So there's that. So that was already strikes 1, 2, and 3 for me. I thought they were, that's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. You cannot give me any quality justification to why that is acceptable. So according to Sports Card Radio, they have had multiple instances of breaking product before the release dates. Supposed to be a big no-no for the breakers to do. So the rigging break spots. So that's the video that Herman shared. Guy goes through and shows some video and things that are going on. So again, I am not sitting here going, yes, they did this. I am simply passing along this information. But you can check that out as you want. And then on top of that, this isn't necessarily anything they did wrong. We would say that it appears sketchy. So I think it was just a week or two ago that they pulled a 101 logo man that had 3 different logo mans on it of LeBron James. This was one that that rapper Drake had apparently been doing break someone trying to get, maybe with Ken Golden. I can't remember. And that was pulled just a week or two before Josh Luber does breaks with Backyard Breaks. I know that they don't own Panini, but there's still, that's a lot of coincidence. And that just, I'm just going to say, there's some shenanigans going on there. But anyway, so what Luber did is he jumped in a Prism case break with them that lasted about 3.5 hours. Who in the hell is watching a 3.5 hour break? I don't know how you guys watch and listen to me for an hour, but so Luber. So some of the comments I found interesting by Luber, and so keep this in mind. This guy is supposed to be the face of the hobby. He works for Fanatics and is like the, whatever. He's going to be the most well-known, most highest ranking person in the hobby. Supposedly, he's kind of the czar or the emperor or whatever you want to call it. But then he makes comments like, there were 1,000. He asked them, and this is again per Sports Card Radio's video. I did not listen to this. There's 1,000 people watching, and he asked, so how do you get to 50,000 people viewing this live? You really think somebody's gonna get to 50,000 views of a mod? Might be different if we were breaking a case of 1952 Topps high number. Still probably not. So anyway, so that's just like for me, I start questioning his, I don't know, should he be there? Should he be the guy to be doing this? When asked why he broke with them, his response was, because they were the first to ask. Okay. They're jabronis. Do you go on these guys being you guys want all these new people trying to come in? You're trying to bring in new money, people that want to spend big time dollars, and these are the people you want to associate with? He makes the comment that F1 is boring. Okay, it is. But if you're the CEO or the head, you got to be smarter than to make those comments, because you're not trying to alienate. I wouldn't think you want to alienate people or piss them off. You want to be as I don't know, friendly or whatever, as personable as possible. But anyway, so it talked about the video where you can see some of the stuff they've done. Luber, kind of some of the stuff he said. So there was a good Twitter thread from Run Good Life on Twitter. Hopefully John will, or John, I just saw a tweet and it said John. Herman will post that at some point here. So a lot of things that, make me think these guys shouldn't be getting any positive attention, whether it be from collectors, but that most collectors, there's a lot of collectors that are just dumb. Think of how dumb the average person is, and then remember that half the people are dumber than that. And they forget, and they don't hold these breakers or these card companies accountable. But yeah, so this guy, one of the two guys, I guess he's got a burner Twitter account, and on that, and again, this is all in that thread from Run Good Life. This is not me saying this. I'm basically just regurgitating what he said. But he posted videos where basically you could classify what he's saying as sexual harassment to people. And then, COVID denial and jokes about COVID, and whether you believe it or not, I don't want to get into any of that. But seriously, these are the guys you're dealing with. And these were on Twitter. And apparently since have been deleted. Shocker. Of course they were going to be deleted. Yeah, anyway, deleted. And, but at least we have some evidence of that. And then there was a KJ_sports_cards tweet, and he posted a shot of two and then from Josh Luber. Again, I'm just saying what they said. I don't know this person. I don't know if it's authentic, but basically Luber doubles down and says there was no wrongdoing on the Lawrence incident, which is bullshit, if you ask me. So that's kind of the what, where, why, all that.
So here's what you were talking about.
Yeah. So there's that. Again, Photoshop is something that most people can do. I am not. But if you take that, you take it, and it is legitimate. That's just optics. Optics are horrible on all of this. Is this the guy that should be the highest level face of this hobby? I get that you can't ban backyard breakers, but he's literally endorsing them by being on there with this history of not giving cards that were pulled for people, of potentially breaking stuff before release date, of rigging their breaks, the randoms. They're not actually random. Again, I'm not accusing them of this. I am simply regurgitating information. But shouldn't a CEO or whatever you want to call him, that face, be smarter? Shouldn't he be? Let's be honest. He needs to be a little more. He needs to be a little more vanilla. You need to just kind of stay back. You need to give those generic answers, because it's a bad look for the hobby. He wants to grow the hobby. He wants to grow. Just one last point. He wants to grow the hobby, but how is this going to look to the outside people you're trying to bring in that aren't the guys like you and me? They're trying to bring in big money because they want to make this big business. Look at the amount of money they spent to purchase Topps. Those people are in general going to be more intelligent than all these card cucks that are supporting backyard breakers. If you're supporting backyard breakers, if you're getting in their breaks and watching, that tells me all I need to know about you. And yes, I'm going to judge you for that. You're going to judge me, and that's fine, but I'm going to judge you. But that's kind of what it was. And then some of my talking points, I agree with Steph. He just wants to be, he wants to be the bro of the hobby, everybody's buddy. But there are a lot of us that he's completely going the other way. So sorry I cut you off, but it's
no, you're fine. You're fine. What I was going to kind of reference was, and I seen somebody else say this, is look how in the past, let's say how long has it been? 4 years? How forgiving the people in the hobby have been to shady business. Because was it like 3 or 4 years ago with PSA and Probstein?
The card trimming and all that. Yeah, about 3 years, I think.
So I mean, and now it's like PSA's booming. It's like negative publicity is better than no publicity. So
yeah, because unfortunately, like I said, a lot of the people, I don't want to say most. I got to stop saying most. A lot of people in the hobby just don't care, don't remember, don't know. It's one of those three. They don't remember, they don't care, or they don't know. And I mean, that's what I admire. That's what I appreciate about Sports Card Radio is that they will bring up stuff from the past again and again. Because to me, they best and only that I really know of watchdog that we have out there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And, this isn't about them, but just saying in general that they continue to talk about those things because you have so many people that just again don't know, don't care, or whatever.
Well, and I'll be honest. I first heard about the trimming and PSA slapping trim cards and whatnot. It didn't affect me one iota because like a lot of people, I don't grade cards. I've never sent a card in to be graded, and I don't foresee in the near future me ever sending one in to be graded. I do have a couple of graded cards. Matter of fact, I'm going to show one of them in a minute, but it's just because it's the one I found and I got it. So if I knew I could get it out of the slab without messing it up, I would probably take it out just so I could put it with the rest of them. But and like I said, a lot of it is in a case like it, people like me, they hear about it, but don't necessarily give it two thoughts because they know they're not going to use the service. Exception of was it PWCC and Probstein that was involved.
It was more It was more PWCC than Probstein, but I mean, okay, we know that Probstein has some of the same issues.
Right. And I could possibly buy a card from them off of eBay, or could have when they were on eBay. I think they're not on there anymore, but as far as the grading part, I mean, I probably won't ever use PSA. So, and a lot of it, I feel like a lot of it comes from that. But then they are those that are diehard PSA submitters and just overlook it. And that's on them. I mean, it's not to say that it's not something that PSA actively does. I'm sure that it happened and they corrected it, but just like you said, it's this short-term memory or selective memory. I don't know which.
Yeah, I would say selective is probably more of it. But yeah, I just, like I said, but yeah, while we may not be buying high-end trim cards, so it doesn't affect us so much, we still are very wary. Those of us that are, smart, we're wary and kind of keep an eye out. We know we don't forget, even if not involved. But again, more people are going to be involved in breaking than buying $100,000 cards.
Yeah, and I don't want to bash grading because I don't want Mike Moynihan on my case. So. Bo will get it. But yeah,
but going back to what John said, John says that he said in his chat with Mike that the hobby's bulletproof at this point. I would have a hard time arguing that. I don't know if I would, be 100% on board with that. But again, what I'm getting to is people that are already here are here. Obviously, we know we have a bunch of morons that are going to continue to support Backyard Breakers and PWCC and so on and so forth. But when we're talking, they want to grow this hobby and they want to bring all this money in from high dollar people. And then they see people that are like part of the face of this hobby interacting with douche canoes like Backyard Breakers. Do you want to get involved in this? Is this where you want to be?
Right.
Because you're still there's still an association there. And that's and that's just where I am with it. Like I said, it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't truly affect me too much, but it's bad optics optics for the hobby. And if you want to grow the hobby, you know, it needs to be somewhat, not necessarily regulated, but you need to have the people at the top making the smart decisions and interacting with the right people. And that's, you know, that's my 2 thoughts my 2 cents for what it's worth. Although I think I gave you about a $2 bill instead.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take a $2 bill.
Hey, speaking of, I was picking up trash in my yard because where we are, unfortunately, there's a recycling spot probably not less than a football field away, and trash is always blowing into our yard. So I was picking up trash before I mowed the other day. Found a $10 bill in my front yard.
So you got paid to cut your own grass?
Yep. And that went to what? About a quarter of a tank of gas.
Right. That wouldn't even cut my backyard. Because according to Jenny, I've got 150 acres to cut.
That's a lot. That's a lot of mowing.
Nah, I don't have that much. I don't even know where she got that idea from. But
so yeah, you know, kind of looking at the chat, and I mean, it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. You know, it doesn't seem like we have a lot of people dissenting with my opinion, but I think we all do kind of collect similarly. We are somewhat like-minded. Thanks for joining, DR. Completely get it. There's nothing wrong with watching on replay. You know, I don't watch live streams in the evening. I always watch them on replay the next day. So I completely get it. But yeah, you know, not really a whole lot of dissenting opinions. You know, I think Rich kind of pointed out some things that I hadn't addressed or touched on, added some information, but it does seem like we're all kind of either of the same mind, or it's just the fact that most of us aren't swimming in that end of the pool.
Right. But, you know, and I keep thinking about, and you commented on it, and I hope he doesn't mind me bringing it up, but, you know, Dub mentioned on Twitter earlier today how, you know, this isn't the way things are today is not the hobby that he grew to love and the hobby that he has always been involved in, because there's always somebody trying to get over on somebody else. There's always a scammer out there. There's always this or always that. But given what he said, I mean, how many people has this ran off?
But to counterpoint that, those people were always out there. We just happen to have social media and the internet now. There were scammers at probably every damn card show we went to growing up. It's definitely at a higher level, and things have gotten more sophisticated. And again, most of that stuff happens outside of my hobby dollar. But yeah, no, it was funny. He had tweeted something, and I replied to him and said that it was something we were going to talk about tonight. I kind of thought he might be with us, but I'm sure he's got family stuff going on.
He's breaking some 90s cards. Yeah, and DR brings up a good point too. Is you know, PSA needs the hobby more than the hobby needs PSA.
Well, I don't disagree with that. Can't disagree with that at all.
Not at all. But
all right, we got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Is that 10 minutes long enough for you to show some mail?
No, but I'm going to anyway.
Okay. Well, go ahead and show some mail.
I'm going to anyway. So I tried to make time, as Bo said. I have time. I just got to make it, and I wasn't able to make time to do
Hey Herman, why don't you take me off the screen and just show your other screen so people can see everything better?
How about that?
That works.
But anyway, I just wanted to share these real quick, and I'll make it quick. But just I think it's about 6, 7, 8 cards that I picked up in the past few weeks. The first is the 2007. Can you see that? Yeah. Get rid of that glare. 2007 Allen Ginter, Dick Perez. And then the 2006 Allen Ginter, Dick Perez. And the 2018 Allen Ginter, Ron Acuna Jr. rookie. And these 3 cards, by the way, are pretty big because they complete one of my 4 binder projects. So with these 3 cards, I've gotten all of the Allen Gifter Braves now. So that's
Congratulations.
That's 1 binder down and 3 to go. Which my Gypsy Queen one is only, I think, 10 cards away. So and then these are some of the ones that I've been trying to do the video on. The first of which is the was it 2022 Topps Inception Orange, numbered out of 50. These next 2, I had never laid my eyes on them, and can't say that I even know that they existed. I was actually at Bo's house when I found this one on eBay, but it's the 2011 Topps Chrome Vintage.
Is that supposed to be like a take on, is it 96 Topps or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, it's a little dark, so I couldn't quite tell, but that is kind of what it looks like.
Yes, Steph.
95, 96.
He was a Brave then, and that's where he's going. So, free to go Dodgers. I'm finna mute all y'all.
Is there a refractor of that?
Huh?
Is there a refractor of that?
There is. I actually looked into it, and there are. But like I said, I found this card when me and Bo was hanging out in his rec room, and I told him, I was like, I've never seen that card, and went ahead and hit the buy it now button. And then the next one that I had never, I knew they existed, but I've never seen one. But it's the 2011 team set image variation. And it's actually numbered the ATL 11, excuse me. So I added that one.
So is it a short print, or is it like from a team set?
It's from a team set. It's okay. A short print. Right. It's short printed as in, there's not from my understanding, from what I've looked at and what I've seen, there's supposedly not as many of these as they are his regular Topps base set rookie. So,
probably not. Yeah, I just knew the numbering like that was sometimes from the team set, so that didn't come out of a pack though.
No.
That was very, very, very cool addition, and like you said, probably significantly tougher to find than his regular rookie.
Yeah. It says
nice pickup.
Nice. Yeah. And Steph says the 2011 team set was numbered 1 through 17. All right, and I actually picked up one of these before I went to Madison. Picked the other one up on the way back from Madison, but it was two of the bigger cards that I was wanting from PC that I had said at the beginning of the year that I was going to try to make it happen before the end of the year. So I actually did make this happen. The 2011 Diamond Anniversary Freeman rookie.
Very shiny.
And then the 2011 Cognac.
Shiny.
And that's the PSA that I bought. But
so was there any particular rhyme or reason to why one was graded and one wasn't? Just that's what you came across?
I don't know. I've seen there's graded versions on eBay that go up all the time. But I found that an ungraded version goes for like way too much. I don't know if they're people are buying them and hoping to grade them and get, because if you get a 9 or a 10 in that, the price is like way up there to where, and that's when I saw that one, I'm like, well, it's already graded PSA 8 and everybody kind of laid off of it. So I was actually able to pick it up cheaper than I thought. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's where I thought you were going with that. I didn't actually notice the grade on it, but yeah, you were able to get that cheaper. What is it? somebody says they cry, I buy when they get an 8.
Yeah. And Steph says to now get the blue emerald. And did they make the blue emerald of every base card, or are there certain like select players? Because I looked for the blue in the Freeman and I didn't see one. Even on trading card databases checklist, I didn't see it.
You'd have to sell all your chickens to get that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go for it, but and actually, I think Bo had one that he showed me. That was, I forget who the player was, but they're nice. But I didn't, and that was when I started looking to see about the Freeman one, but I did not see one. So
that eBay search, gotta get it.
Well, I've even searched eBay. I've searched eBay for active and sold for the same one, and it doesn't come up. And like I said, you go to trading card databases website to the checklist of Freeman cards, and it doesn't show up. And which Steph says it's the entire base set that has it. So
I'm saying have the eBay save search set so that if it does come available, that's what I was talking about.
The gold 2011 too. I've seen those.
Hey Steph, stop trying to spend his money.
Yeah, he's doing his best. And with that being said, I told Bo that, even though I hated, Freeman getting traded to the Dodgers, one thing I found is that it's made me focus more back on his rookie year and picking up some of the cards that I didn't have. So I guess that's a plus if there's a plus in it.
Good stuff. Glad you're still collecting them, though. I'm glad to hear you're still collecting.
I even went to ComC and looked for it, and I didn't even, unless I just wasn't looking right. When you look up a certain card on ComC or a certain set over on the left side, it gives you all the variations of that card that either is on ComC or has been on ComC, or I'm not sure how that works, or if it's just everyone that's in the set. And I didn't see the blue emerald on there either.
Yeah, you can do the include sold out, but I mean, it is numbered at a 60 and it's a rookie. And I mean, even if it's not quite the same color, it is a team color. So it might be one just that, hasn't been seen very many times.
Yeah. That's about all I got. So
same here. I've spoken a lot tonight. Everybody's tired of hearing my voice anyway.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you jumping, kind of filling in. I got a call from work in the middle of this, and I kind of had to take it. So, well, I appreciate everybody that jumped on, and thanks for joining the chat. If you're still here, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and check out Hobby Hotline tomorrow night. I'm not sure who's on, and Bo in the morning. I bet that was the name of his radio. I bet that was his radio name when.
It sounds like a good radio. Morning radio show name.
Morning radio, Bo in the morning. All right, so till next week, everybody take care, and we'll see you then.